Dillian the Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
So to continue the other video before of Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury, on this one, in the same column, so again, I'll put the article in the description box. So go give that a read after you listen to this video, of course. Click a thumbs up, subscribe, etc, etc. So Dillian is talking about the fight with Deontay Wilder and Dominic Breazeale, and of course he goes even further about the WBC situation, etc, etc. And Dillian makes all the points that I've previously said, but he says it like in a nutshell, I suppose you could say. But I totally agree with everything that Dillian has said about this whole WBC situation, the fight with Dominic Breazeale, as nobody was expecting Dominic Breazeale to win. In fact, I said that I'll be quite surprised if he gets out the first round, but it ain't going past round 3. These are my exact words. You'll remember that. So it was no great surprise to me what happened at all. And this is what Dillian Whyte had to say in his column about the Deontay Wilder fight with Dominic Breazeale and other bits. So here we go. Plenty of people seem to be raving about Wilder's knockout victory over Dominic Breazeale at the weekend. But Breazeale is exactly the kind of guy you fight when you're trying to look good. How the hell can he be number 4 in the WBC rankings and the mandatory challenger? What has he achieved in his career? He's far from the top level. He's a nobody who only had 3 fights against other nobodies in the last 3 years. It's a disgrace and that he was the mandatory. Neither him nor Breazeale earned their status, but they were cherry-picked by Wilder as only 2 mandatories he's fought in 4.5 years. He's meant to have at least one every year. Stiverne was 40 years old and completely out of shape, having only had 1 fight in 3 years against a journeyman since losing the title to Wilder. What a joke. Wilder has been lucky. The WBC have been looking after him because he is their champion. He has a high KO record in his professional career, but he has fought a lot of cabbages. Dillian Whyte statement. So again, I think everything that he said, I have said previously in this one, where as WBC champion, you're supposed to have a mandatory every year. Okay, so you have a mandatory, then you have a voluntary fight, whoever it is you want in the top 15, or maybe another one before the end of the year. So in 4.5 years, he's only fought 2, which is absolutely disgusting. So the WBC Wilder owes the WBC at least 2 more mandatories just to catch up, really. But that ain't going to happen. The WBC will protect him as they always do. So absolutely correct. And the fight with Dominic Breazeale, again, it just went as predicted, as Dillian Whyte said there. And should Dominic Breazeale have been a mandatory? No, of course not. Of course not. Again, WBC put him in a situation knowing that that is another win for Wilder, much like they did with Breazeale. Breazeale lost to Deontay Wilder, was out the ring for however the hell long. It was, what, 2-3 years, whatever it was. In that time, he had 1 fight against I've forgotten his bloody name now. Either way, he lost that fight in many people's opinions. He even got dropped in that fight. But either way, he got the decision win. He then come back. Derek Rossi was his name. So it just pops into my mind that Breazeale fought. And he then fought Wilder, and then just got absolutely done, absolutely annihilated. So that's 2 mandatories that Wilder has absolutely annihilated, which shows you the pattern that the WBC have just been protecting Wilder as far as mandatory challenges, which is why Dillian Whyte's been number 1 for, 570 days or thereabouts. And yet he's not mandatory. He's not forced onto Wilder because Wilder, listen, he doesn't want that fight. The WBC don't want that fight, etc, etc. So what Dillian Whyte is saying here is absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. He owes the WBC at least 2 more title fights. So why not make Dillian Whyte against Oscar Rivas on July 20th as the final mandatory, the final eliminator, whatever the hell you want to call it, and the winner goes and fights Wilder next, because Wilder owes the WBC at least 2 more mandatories. No more of these cream puff mandatories. No more of them, please. Breazeale was never going to win. He was far too slow and inactive. Again, Breazeale only had 1 fight in 18 months. 3 fights since losing to Anthony Joshua. So that should tell you everything that you need to know. And it's the same situation with Breazeale, the other mandatory, as well. 1 fight in, was it 3 years, whatever it was? Absolutely disgusting, to be honest with you. So Dillian is correct. The WBC need to sort their act out. They need to install him as mandatory and stop protecting Wilder from him. He's been number 1 for long enough. No more messing around. get the fight on next. That's my thoughts on it all. You drop me yours, click thumbs up, and of course subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.